I woke up recently and remembered that I hate myself. So in order to give myself what I deserve, I decided to challenge myself by running Resident Evil 4 in VR without visiting the merchant even a single time. There are two small issues though, one being that I had to do this run on normal since I had never actually cleared RE4 in VR before, and professional difficulty is locked behind a single game clear. And two, the footage looks awful, but there's really no good way to record this game without using the Oculus Air Link, which stutters and drops quality pretty much whenever it wants to. Don't worry though, I make it up later in the video, and when we get there, I'll point it out. So, the beginning of the run is just like any other start to RE4. Shoot some crows, trespass on someone's property, gun him down in cold blood, and superhero jump out of his window before you kill his friends who came to help him. It's right after that, while organizing my inventory, that I realize how good we're gonna have to be on inventory management since no merchant means no attaché case upgrades. But we forget about that for now, murder a crow for a hand grenade, save a nice doggy, and mosey our way down to the most iconic part of the game, the opening village segment. While I utterly fail the grenade throw to finish the section quickly, I maneuver and finish the rest of the area with relative ease, thanks to the ability to move and shoot introduced in the VR version. A technique which I will be heavily abusing moving forward. Oh, and we also get the shotgun, the holy fucking grail of this run. The crowd control potential this thing gives us is ridiculous, and even by the time we get to the island, this thing is still pulling its weight in gold. After skipping the cutscene, we move ahead towards the farm on our search for Ashley. I practice baiting enemies for later on in the run, where a lack of ammo as well as firepower will make the strategy, well, the only thing I can do. I grab the beer stein because at the end of the game, I want to sell everything I own and see how much money you roughly make from a single playthrough of the game, so I'll be grabbing most of the treasures I can. I get a chance to show off my wonderful aim and then scoot into the cabin to find Ash.
The big cheese.
After waking up, we do a little dance to escape our cuffs and are greeted by the devil himself on our way out of the jail. We murder him for his crimes before sprinting through the next section, expecting to be able to spam our way through the door lock. Turns out the game doesn't pause here like it normally would. Making our way through the next area, we get jump scared by a Ganado, solve the world's easiest puzzle, and commit some dubious speedrun acts to pass by some more enemies. From here on, I'm gonna skip over a lot of the gameplay because most of it just feels the exact same as a normal run, since the game's balance really doesn't adjust for the merchant until the castle. We'll take a pit stop at the Del Lago fight because I think it's hilarious how fast you can shoot the harpoon in VR, and another pit stop at the ogre fight because it's the first real boss fight of the run, even if he does go down rather easy. Arriving at the church, we pick up arguably the worst part of this run, Ashley. See, in the normal game, I actually think Ashley is a great AI partner. She sticks directly behind you at all times, ducks when you shoot, and is generally really easy to manage. I don't know what specifically was changed in the VR version, but she is hell to manage here. She seems to follow at a greater distance behind the player, and crouch down in terror if she even smells an enemy, where normally she really only ducks down if you aim at her. If you can't tell, Ashley is going to be responsible for most of our deaths. We speed back around through the village and the farm in the pouring rain and make our way to the cabin. This is the last challenging part of the village section of the game, and all in all, even though we misthrow a grenade or two, take a few hits, we power through without dying. After running from the ogre on the right side path, we take a lift downward. We then say hi to the merchant and scoot on into the final blockade between us and the castle. The big cheese fight. With a few incendiary grenades and an explosive barrel or two, the big cheese is burnt and we book it back to the big door out of the backwoods. However, on the path to the castle, Ashley gets just a little caught up in a group of enemies, refusing to leave, and our first death, if you want to call it that, and it certainly won't be our last at the hands of Ashley. We run the path once more, a lot cleaner this go around, and officially make our way into the castle. Our inventory is so packed full at this point that we can't even grab a chicken egg, but it won't stay that way for long. We've got the first area of the castle up ahead, one that kinda expects you to have the sniper.
Oh no.
We do not have the sniper. Still, with only one death here, we move on to the next room where we can attract all the local rats with our extreme cheese. See, you grab the sword from upstairs, you leave, come back, put the gold sword downstairs, run upstairs and put the platinum sword in place, and ta-da! We're out without the annoying red robe Ganado and his posse of shield fuckheads ruining our day. Once inside the castle, we nearly blow up Ashley with a grenade on accident, do a pretty clean fight against the Wolverine, and then stupidly kite Ashley directly into the path of some dynamite.
Ashley.
Meaning we have to start the entire room over from the beginning. Yay. Being in a hurry and forgetting to tell Ashley to wait results in
Ashley! No!
now having to handle her during the Wolverine fight, accidentally making it a lot harder than it needs to be. But thankfully no more problems arise, and it's on to the room only whispered about in legends. The water room. As expected, the archers initially cause a lot of problems. Taking them out with the low power of the pistol from a distance is time consuming and difficult, so I have to manage between how many shots go at the archers to stun them, and when I should focus my attention on the threats at my front doorstep. Juggling between the pistol and shotgun for this is surprisingly fun. It makes for a great challenge as we work our way down to the switch that pulls the lever in the middle of the room up. A hop, skip, and a turn, and we've found our way up to the last part of the water room already. Protecting Ashley while she turns the levers on the upper rafters is business as usual, although without the handy headshot potential of the sniper, we opt to just outright kill most of the enemies with body shots on their way to nab Ashley. This strategy, combined with a few simple pumps of the shotgun to protect ourselves, makes the room an easy clear, and we're out without a single death. Nice. Ashley falls into the lamest trap ever in the next room, and I'm gonna be honest, I sprinted through the invisible bug section without a second thought. Just ran straight by every enemy since none of them are a required kill. Didn't even grab the yellow herb, just zoomed. The next portion of the castle goes fairly smooth, even with the room with the red robed deer guy who can get on the minigun, since we managed to knock him over while he's running, do a little stabby stab, rinse and repeat until we're out of there. In the garden, we use the same strategy as the sewers. Run in, grab everything we need, and get the hell out. We say hi to Ada, the merchant, and then get caught in a death cage in the next room. Even though we take a little damage from Mr. Wolverine, we make it out relatively unscathed, and run into a huge decision in the next room. What do we get rid of to make space in our case for the rocket launcher? I decide to use a few heals, rearrange some items, and discard a few grenades and eggs to make space for the glorious one-hit KO machine that is Lago. A thought then strikes my mind. After we rescue Ashley, we have to go back and get the Magnum, which means we need to make space for that too. I decide, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, even though the bridge is right after the next room, because that's where we save Ashley. Talk about problems that sort of solve themselves though, because it takes literally everything that I have to save Ashley in this room. Like, I literally have to grab a flash grenade from the area I'm in to stun the last enemy who had grabbed Ashley, so I'd have time to look for handgun ammo that I was praying was inside the room, so I could barely manage to kill the very last Ganado, so Ashley could grab the key to get the hell out of there. Down to the wire. Nothing interesting about Ashley's part except the puzzle, which I recently learned a quick way of doing. Every time I would play this game before, it would take me about 20 minutes of randomly moving pieces around to finally get it working, because I'm stupid apparently. But I learned a nice and easy method recently, which is to move this piece to the center, and then, starting from the bottom left, you just make a giant circle like this. Easy does it. We also fuck up a QTE and die here, but we don't talk about that. Finally reunited with Ashley, we make a mad dash backwards to get our hands on the Magnum. We get rid of some pistol ammo to make room for it, and then head back to the lava room. No major problems there, so we loop back around to the main portion of the castle and go on a roller coaster ride to our next hellscape. During this next area, we have to get our hands on the King and Queen's chalices in order to progress. The Queen's chalice is easy enough to get, but I was very worried about the King's chalice in particular, due to the 6 parasite head knight armored things that guard it. Thankfully, a single magnum shot to the head causes the parasite to be exposed, and the first wave of 3 knights is taken down with a simple flash grenade. The next group is much the same, with a single magnum shot exposing their parasite. A hand grenade that misses 2 of them, and a few well-placed shotgun shots makes the King's Chalice ours without much of a struggle. It was certainly a relief to finish that room with a lot less of a struggle than I thought I would have. Poor Ashley gets kidnapped once again by the Big Bug agenda, and we chase after her, ignoring every enemy along the way. Seriously, we just speedrun through the tower segment and run by the enemies on the bridge, and we come face to face with an arguably extremely tough room. If you thought I was saving my rocket launcher for Salazar, you thought wrong. We use it here to save ourselves the absolute hassle of trying to manage 2 Wolverines, one of them being armored, and turn the room into a cakewalk so we can skirt on by. You remember earlier when I said that I would make it up to you guys for the difficulty being on normal and the footage being a little iffy. Well, here's what I did. I killed Verdugo. Knife only. Without dying. Yeah, I know, I'm pretty cool. You can watch the whole fight in the full video on my other channel, but take my word for it. It was a thrilling battle where both sides struggled and many things were learned. I also lost almost all of my heals. Oh well. Once more, we say hi to the merchant as we pass by on our way to the mines, where a few well-timed shots make quick work of the dynamite villagers here, and we get the big boy chainsaw man out to play. Unfortunately, a slight misstep causes us to lose our head, but on the second run through, we do just fine. You would think that this room with 2 ogres in it would pose a pretty large challenge, but after sinking one of them into the burnt cheese, the other one goes down pretty quickly thanks in large part to the Magnum. We run our last race through Bug Hell and do the same thing in the beginning of the mines, not needing to kill nearly anything in our way, so these parts are pretty boring. The minecart ride is par for the course, as I shoot nearly every enemy before they can jump onto the cart, making the ride quite literally an on-rails experience. The giant statue area is easily ran through, and we're chased to the final spiral tower before the Salazar boss fight by the statue itself. The tower section was going very, very smoothly, all the way until the elevator. Fuck this elevator. Anyone who's played RE4 knows exactly what I'm talking about. There is just an endless sea of red robes that continuously fall from the ceiling, and Leon has to make like Moses to even hope to survive. I'll save you the worst of it, but just know the amount of smart positioning I needed, along with good use of kick props to knock enemies off the elevator, and only using shotgun shells in a way that knocks enemies off the elevator, all of that combined in order to not get Jill sandwiched. This lift might have been the worst part of the run. The elevator ends up leaving us with not a lot of ammo for Salazar. Things are looking a bit bleak, but I have a feeling it will be just enough ammo.
I swung my hand.
Okay, disregarding that silly, goofy little death, and this one, we take out Salazar just fine thanks to our trusty Magnum, and take a ride with Ada to the final section of the game, the island. You would think this part of the run would be the most challenging, but it actually goes really, really smoothly. It has nothing to do with the fact that I run past nearly everything, but from start to finish it only took me an hour and a half. That's not really that long. In terms of running past everything, we pretty much just do that until our first required kills on the island, these fuckers who hide behind this metal door. The first group goes down easy enough with a well-placed dynamite shot, and while I start to use the pea shooter against the second group of archers, I decided to be smart for once in my life and throw a grenade back there when the shutter opens and take them all out at once. Next up is the regenerator section, and if you want to know how I handled it, it went a little something like this. Nope, 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 nope. We play a nice little crane game for some prizes, tell Ashley we can't save her yet, and oh no. The Iron Maiden is coming up, which is a spiked regenerator with more health than a normal one, and it's a required kill. My only strategy at the time was blow its legs off and stun lock it while it was on the ground by repeatedly shooting it in the head with my pistol. When I ran out of pistol ammo, I did the same thing with the Magnum. And when I ran out of Magnum ammo, I unloaded all of my shotgun shells into it, and it still wasn't dead. I just knifed it with my fingers crossed, and eventually it finally died. A nail biter for sure, but not a huge issue in the end. We partake in a little Ashley rescuing, and in the next room she gets taken away. Twice. Before we finally manage to squeeze by into the dump area. We lock the Iron Maidens away and reach the Wrecking Ball room, another notorious problem spot for most people who've played RE4. Surprisingly enough, even though Ashley causes us a lot of trouble here, she neither dies nor gets taken away, and we manage to scrape by this room with just a few cuts and bruises. The next room goes by pretty nicely, except for Ashley getting pimp slapped by a regenerator, and we move on to the funny section with the bulldozer. No deaths happened here, I promise. After crashing the dozer, Ashley once again gets kidnapped, and we have an epic 1v1 knife fight with Krauser, which admittedly feels pretty cool in VR. I also got way too into it. It was fun.
American.
Kicks the fucking barrel. Speaking of QTEs that are mega fun in VR, do you like lasers? Too bad the cool lasers are followed up by U3, because this boss sucks to fight even in VR. He breaks our neck right out of a cutscene, cuts us in half, and gives us a really hard time during his actual boss fight. We once again skirt by with barely any ammo, which is honestly fine, because the next boss fight that comes up can conveniently be beaten very easily without spending a single bullet. Krauser. During every part of this fight, while searching for the pieces, I just knife the shit out of this guy. And you'll never guess what I do during the final fight on top of the pillars. I knife the shit out of him. Not even that hard of a boss, especially with the extra movement that VR allows you to have. After Krauser is the mic section, and we don't talk about the mic section, because all I did during this part was run in a straight line and shotgun any enemy who got in my way. It was pretty boring. Also, I don't really like the mic section. We do, you guessed it, some more running, kill this guy for his keycard, save Ashley one last time, and get the Plagas removed from our bodies to prepare for our final fight with Saddler. We say hi to the merchant one final time, and take the elevator to what was honestly an underwhelming boss. A single shotgun shot to the eye-leg thingy would bring Saddler down, and I would just unload my Magnum, rinse and repeat, and it was over in a matter of minutes. Kind of disappointing in a way. But you know what wasn't? The fucking jet ski section in VR. That shit rocked. I had a blast escaping the island, so at least that was pretty fun. All in all, we died a total of 17 times, half of which I think were from Ashley, and I made a return trip to our friend the merchant to sell everything that I owned, to see how much money we gathered during our entire trip, which was 918,070 pesetas. Not bad, nearly $1 million, and I'm sure if I'd gotten every treasure, it would have been. So as a last goodbye to the merchant, we make a single purchase, and wave him off.